From the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery in Nashville, Tennessee, it's Gardening Inside Out, a podcast with highlights from our Saturday morning live show, answering all your gardening questions, giving you plant advice for any space in your life. Let's start the show.
Hey, everybody, it's Caroline Gant.
Hey, everybody, Austin Lowen.
And Tyler Blankenship.
Man, I am glad to see y'all. I'm back. I went on a little trip. I was not on the show this past weekend, but it's great to see y'all. I made a little trip up north to Pennsylvania, and I saw some stuff.
What'd you see?
I was telling my wife this, not much different than really what's here.
Really?
Really. Not too much. We live in Nashville, Tennessee, Zone B, 7B, excuse me. Forgot the number.
Yeah, that's important.
It is. But anyway, I'm not even sure what zone Pennsylvania is. It's like Harrisburg area, okay? And what I was saying is we have a lot more crepe myrtle and magnolia here. Mm-hmm. They have a lot more blue spruce and fir there. But then other than that,
it's the same.
Everything's the same. The shrubs are a lot alike. Trees are a lot alike. Big hardwood trees, deciduous trees all over the place. It was very similar.
So it was kind of like you were still home.
No, not at all. The state is 100% different. My God, it's old.
It is very old.
Whew.
It is very old. Tunnels.
Yes, I went through tunnels. I screamed in them.
A lot of rusty stuff.
Mm-hmm. The buildings are old.
I'm a fan.
I like Pennsylvania, too. It's a step back in time. It was fun.
Well, we're glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back.
You missed some stuff.
What'd y'all do? What'd y'all do on the show?
We did some things. Tyler and I made magic happen.
In what way?
And I don't know.
Tyler.
You mean...
We have started
Did you
making
enjoy that?
jingles. What'd you think?
Jingle about lobelia.
Yeah.
You guys.
We did.
That's what y'all did.
Well, when you're
I'm
gone,
happy with it.
We don't have much to do when you're not around,
I'm very proud of you, actually. That was hilarious.
Caroline
what was that,
just...
the auto parts store?
It was the O'Reilly's Auto Parts.
This is not an endorsement,
I was
by
doing
the
the
way.
green room, and Tyler was helping me, and I picked up Lobelia, and I just started singing that song.
She just belted it out.
And then I was like, you know what? We should make a jingle. And then Tyler was like, let's do it. And we did it. And then I think now we're going to have to make a jingle for our feature plant once a week.
Oh, gosh.
And
that's going to be hard.
If you're listening right now and you have not actually watched the broadcast, we do feature a plant when we go around with the decor in the green room for the broadcast, the video broadcast. So we have one feature plant.
Put it on the hot plate.
We put it on the hot plate. It's on a Lazy Susan that spins the entire show. Mm-hmm. And this week we featured Lobelia. So we made a jingle.
That's hilarious. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm proud of you. That was fantastic. Good work, Tyler.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
And Caroline.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I was like, hello.
The genesis of the idea.
Tyler, you made it happen, though.
We both did. And also, I'm so glad that Caroline could belt the lobelia part because she really nailed it.
I did.
Nailed
Yeah.
it. Mm-hmm.
She really dug it in.
Should have been a singer for commercials. Still time. Still time to do it. But
always.
What's going on with y'all's gardens? Are you doing anything right now? You got back. Is everything dead?
No.
Oh,
everything's not dead. I did the kiddie pool thing. I put my trees in the kiddie pool, filled it up with
I did
water.
not know you were going to do that.
Yeah, everything's fine. I mean, everything in the ground, not everything, but a lot of things are tired, kind of getting there. The cutback petunias, they're really flushing. They look nice again.
Yeah.
Talked about that a little bit last week, but they're bigger and better, so they're nice. My garden is, it's throwing fruit still. We're still getting stuff, still going on. We planted ours way late, so we harvested, probably 15 tomatoes last night. The girls did, so thanks for that. And yeah, it's hot. It's 100 degrees right now on our lot. It's no joke hot still. So we're dealing with that.
We're all melting slightly while we're out there.
If you zoom out from Middle Tennessee and look at the drought monitor, half of America is in some form of dry or drought condition right now. Mm-hmm. So you kind of slice the country diagonally, with the Northeast being kind of lesser and the Southwest being crazy. So if you're in one of those areas, it's probably looking pretty crispy out there.
We're all feeling dry together.
Yeah, I noticed that on my drive up to Pennsylvania. I went through 5 different states, there and back, because we went 2 different routes, and every single state I came through, grass was dry, things were wilting. It was droughty out there.
Yes, the core of the drought where you drove through, Austin, would be West Virginia and Southern Ohio.
Mm-hmm. I saw it.
So that's rough.
It's rough on plants right now. It's okay.
Yeah. Some of my plants are pretty sad. I kind of regret buying Mountain Mint last week and some other stuff because I have not planted it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I shouldn't have done it.
You're
going to regret that anyway.
No, I'm not. I'm
Ugh.
going to be so happy. I'm planning it. One of the reasons why I have not planted it yet is because I'm planning it at the bottom of a very steep, very big hill that goes down to a spring area. So I'm going to plant it down there where it's very moist, but it's very dry right now. The spring has just about dried up because we haven't had a lot of rain. And you know I'm never going to drag a hose down that hill.
You should set up a rappelling little thing where you could hook yourself up and then lower yourself down.
I should do that.
Like a zip line?
Kind of.
I'll be calling out tomorrow to get that done so I can plant my mountain.
Or you could make a big old water slide with a little rope to climb back up.
I'd never make it back up if it was water slide down. I don't know. I guess I don't have to go up the slide. So yeah, I would. There's things I can do, but I'm just not going to do it. It's too hot outside.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully that'll break soon.
Mm-hmm. But that's all I have going on in my gardening ventures right now.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything outside.
No, we don't want to be right now. I had to mow the grass yesterday, and it was just...
Do you love every second of it?
I hated it. It was dry. It was dusty. And also, you know what's hit? The woolly aphids, y'all. They are out.
Yeah.
It is a white cloud in the sky.
Yeah.
Kinda. It's like
Little
it's more like
dramatic,
a snowstorm.
Yeah.
They look like flurries.
They look like snow
Flurries.
flurries, yes, except a lot of them. It's like the woolly aphid apocalypse out there, y'all. They're just flying,
You
hitting
must
me in the
have
face.
more at your house than
I had a bunch. It was a swarm yesterday. They were swarming me on my lawnmower, getting on my face.
making you mad.
Yeah, But if you don't know what woolly aphids are, they typically are on hackberry trees, which are, to me, beautiful trees, but they really attract those woolly aphids, and they cause a lot of damage to a lot of
Invasive.
people's stuff. They're very invasive. But they're little white creatures that at the moment are flying around in the air and annoying people.
So if you look out your window and you think it's snowing, it's not. It's too hot to be snowing.
Thanks.
That's a woolly aphid.
They
flying
are really
around.
crazy to look at up close, though.
I was telling the
Very
listeners
fluffy.
that, not you, Austin.
Oh, me.
It is kind of pretty though. Like in the dead of, I guess we're not in the dead of summer. We're moving into fall, but it's so hot that it looks like it's snowing. It's a weird thing.
It's kind of like when a cottonwood throws its seeds, you know? It's like
Oh my
snowing.
gosh. Yeah.
Snowing seeds out there. White. If you've never seen that, it's a cool sight too. The cottonwood shedding their seeds.
That's much more magical than woolly aphids.
Yes. I
And
will say.
less sticky.
Definitely.
Yep.
Tyler,
Yes.
how's your food coming on?
Well, funny
you
that
laugh.
I got a text this morning saying that a squirrel made off with yet another tomato.
No.
Oh, Tyler.
My container celebrity, I did fertilize it, and I kept up with some watering. They had 3 very perfect looking tomato fruits, still not ripening yet, but decent size. That's it. No other fruit. I also noticed that some of the offshoots were being eaten off by something, which you would think might be like a hornworm or something, but there's no sign of a hornworm.
They can hide, Tyler. They're very good at hiding. Is
Have
it
you
like
been out looking?
Is it mainly like from the tips, like them being eaten back from the tips?
No, that like offshoots and like the little leafy kind of shoots that would be off to the left and the right. You can just see where they're like eaten off or burnt back.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole lot of things that like tomatoes.
There's also, I have a little running theory. It might be earwigs.
earwigs.
I have earwigs, and they are a little bit of a night predator on my citrus trees, which sit on my driveway. And I have a feeling that they like to go up there and chomp on the leaves because I see like these little holes cut out of the leaves, like notches and stuff.
I didn't think earwigs were even plant bugs.
Well, they don't usually eat live plant material unless they get a little bit desperate. At least that's what I was reading about.
You got some desperate earwigs.
You do. They're eating
I think I
tomatoes.
do.
You're
I-
just
I
cursed
have
when it
problems.
comes to tomatoes. Like, you told us that. You were like, I'm not going to plant tomatoes. And we were both like, you've got to.
We
You live in
made
the
you.
South. You have to plant tomatoes. And now look at you.
Look at me. I've reinforced my point.
Yes, you have. Okay, next year, no.
I'm going to get out of the basin and then I'll plant some tomatoes.
You're not going anywhere, mister.
Well, hey, speaking of bugs, crazy thing happened in Pennsylvania again. The horticultural buzzword, the spotted lanternfly. Hey.
That's no good.
I saw a bunch of them up there.
beginning
No
to
joke.
encroach their way into Middle Tennessee.
Oh, they coming.
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of numbers. One smacked me. It hit me right in the face.
It was saying I'm
It
here.
scared me to death. I'll tell you what, though. What a beautiful insect. I know it's beautifully harmful.
Beautifully harmful.
But I mean,
They are pretty. I've seen photos of them.
Entomologically
and what they look
speaking,
like when
yes.
their wings are spread. Yeah, they are a
beautiful.
very attractive bug.
They're very docile too. I noticed. Like they just kind of just chilling around you. They don't really care. They're just doing their thing, man. Eating on the tree of heaven. Like they like that.
What else do they eat? Everything? Are they going to eat Tyler's tomatoes? Probably.
No, I don't think so. But they, I think me and Ben were talking earlier, and he said it's a pretty bad, like, he said he's read about, like, grapes being somewhat injured by them, but not, what he's telling me is it wasn't, like, the injury from the nymphs that are, like, feeding. It was from the excrement from their honeydew that was getting on the grapes real bad, because I think their numbers can swarm really, really high, I think is kind of the big thing with them. So, but I'd never seen one before, you know, we haven't seen one in Middle Tennessee yet, and never seen them, but saw them up there.
Isn't there, like, there's no natural predators right now, but it doesn't mean that birds and such could start eating them once they figure out they're delicious.
I think that...
I bet they are. They look like little cupcakes with sprinkles on them.
You're right, they do. They're a little
Debbie
cupcake
flies.
bug.
Little Debbie flies.
But yeah, I think the birds really enjoy them. And I think there's actually kind of a debate where people are like, well, do we, try to eradicate this insect, or do we like kind of let the birds realize they taste good? And then like birds kind of do it for us.
Yeah.
Instead of spraying insecticides like crazy to get rid of these bugs. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I saw them.
But you finally got to see them.
I tell you what,
I think you're the
I'd
first
have a
person
little,
who works here.
I'd have a little group meeting, a little convention, bird convention, if you will. And I'd just get a sampling of them, and I'd be like, hey, try this. That's the only thing that's on the menu, right? Lanternflies in all different forms, and see if they bite, and then release them.
Yes.
And see if they're like, hey, dude, I tried this. It's pretty good.
I think you need to get on this right now.
I will say they're pretty like somewhat bulky insect. Like they're a little bit bigger, and they're not like the fastest flyers I've ever seen. So I feel like birds would easily just pick them off.
And they're
Snatch 'em
so
out of
colorful, they'll be able to find them very quickly.
I would think so.
Stick some of them gnatcatcher cool birds on them.
Mm-hmm. They'll do it.
They'll do it.
Bet they will.
Well, that's kind of exciting in a way. I mean, I know we don't want that here, but...
No. But it was fun to see.
Emergent things that we have to deal with, whether good or bad,
It's part of it.
Yeah, that is.
Man. What else? What else is going on out there, y'all? Are y'all doing anything? Like, we're all just so tired.
We're so tired.
So tired. It's
so
August.
hot. I planted something in my little wildflower area that I thought was Mexican sunflowers, but it's not, and I don't know what it is. So I have a mystery plant that I check
It's
every
Peruvian
single day.
sunflowers.
It's weird.
Guatemalan sunflowers.
It's Guatemalan sunflowers.
Take some
No.
pictures. Take some pictures. Bring them in. We'll figure this out
take some
together, okay?
pictures.
We'll get it.
And I was like, well, maybe it's just some kind of weed, but I've never seen it anywhere on my property. It's just in this one spot where I did scatter a bunch of seeds. And I did scatter a lot of seeds that I've had for years because I was just like, well, they probably won't come up. So there's no telling what it is.
Well, now I'm interested. So,
But it's got these like buds, these green buds that are like an inch high.
I want to see it.
Okay.
All right.
I'll take a picture.
Take some pics. We're gonna see. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we will. We'll let everybody know that we figured it out.
You know what? Something annoying happened to me yesterday.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm getting dramatic about this because it annoys me every single week. A blackberry. As I was mowing the wood line, it snatched me and grabbed my arm,
No,
ripped it apart.
Are you okay?
No. Looks like a bear
Looked
attacked
like
my arm.
you got basically a bear attack happened to you.
A bear attack from a blackberry. I had to individually pick out each one of those thorns.
Oh,
in
no.
my arm.
Oh, how many?
And then they bled.
Like 5?
Exactly 5.
I'm so good at guessing.
Oh, yeah.
I was weed eating a bunch of blackberries down not too long ago. Week and a half. I need to get back there and weed eat more. I have them everywhere on my property.
I feel like everybody needs to weed eat more.
Yeah, you probably do. It's probably time for you to weed eat
Probably.
this week.
I don't want to do it.
And y'all, I have to say, my Vitex are huge. Like, this is year 2 now. I think it's year 2. And they started from like a foot, and now they're probably like 6 feet tall.
We got them at the same time, the little
got 'em
1
at the
gallon
same
straight
time.
species.
Yes.
Yeah, mine is probably 6 foot. I have one. And it keeps throwing off random blooms. It's still blooming
Yes.
sporadically.
I tell people all the time, you do not overbuy with a Vitex. A 1 gallon will do you. Like you said, 1 foot going to 6 foot on the very first season you planted it. Like, come on. Save your money. Buy small plants when they grow fast. That's the key. If a plant grows fast, buy small. Save your money for
And
other
also
things.
just plant a Vitex. It's like a
Exactly.
crepe myrtle and a butterfly bush had a baby.
And That's a great
A
point.
no fuss baby.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't even had to water them.
No. Once they latch in, they're good for life.
I haven't watered mine at all.
Now, one thing I'm really looking forward to is pruning them whenever winter comes along.
It's very fun.
I want to look at
Vitex.
the branch structure. I'm ready to like shape it up, and I want exposed stems underneath.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah. I
now
love
they're
pruning
bushy.
Vitex. One of my favorite prunes to do. Really fun.
You need one.
I do need one.
You need one.
I'll get one soon, probably. Oh, speaking of getting something, I've become a father to a trio of orchids.
Oh, I
my
am
aunt-
so proud of you.
I know you would be. My aunt Karen out in Pennsylvania gave me 3 awful looking. What I just say?
Orchids.
Awful looking orchids. They're as dehydrated as could be. I'm like, hey, Karen, you gotta water these, man. Like you're not doing it right.
She was busy.
And she was like, you know what? Just take these back to Tennessee. I don't even want them anymore. And I'm like, okay. I've never even grown an orchid. You know, I've been doing this for how long? 14 years or something. I've never had an orchid. Like that's kind of weird, you know. But I've got 3 now.
Now you finally have orchids.
I'm a orchid dad.
Orchids are cool. They're very easy.
Very easy, I know. But I had to, I put it in the sink and I just splashed it with water all like 5 different times last night just to get it back hydrated. You should have seen like how it was like.
They get shriveled.
It's literally shriveled. And I'm like, oh goodness, I had to cut off so many just awful leaves. So we'll see how that goes. Keep you posted
Keep
on my
us
orchids.
updated on your orchids.
I will.
We're going on an orchid adventure with you now.
Yes.
We're along for the ride. Buckle in tight, everyone.
All right. Well, I think we probably need to get to this ride.
We probably do. I bet you're interested to take a listen.
I am. I want to hear it. And I want
see
to
what
hear your
happened.
hilarious jingle when that's going to come through.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler,
It's
just
the
hit it one
best.
more time. Let's just. Yes.
And on that note, let's go ahead and get into the broadcast. So we had Adam Chapman sitting in for Austin, David Bates and Josh Carey were here, as well as myself and Tyler Blankenship.
Y'all,
That's me.
That is you.
Well, you know, one of the truths that you've always talked about, David Bates, is when you go on vacation in August.
Are we on a first and last name basis, Josh Carey?
David Bates, how are you? Okay, we are in a first and last name. If I knew your middle name, I would use all 3 of them. So
It's Leslie.
David Leslie Bates, listen to me. Okay, one of your truths. Hey, you're a dad. You know what's going on here. One of your truths about going on vacation in August came true at the proving grounds. I think I'm going to have to replace all 4 of my dappled willows.
Well, you know,
Oh,
and then
no.
one of those traits, Josh, that you'll find is common throughout the salix species is their lack of drought tolerance. And of course, dappled willows being a salix, and
Sure
they
they
don't like dry. They do poorly in dry.
Well, I've got some green at the top, but not a whole lot.
cut 'em
of
back.
I bet
I mean, yeah, just
it'll
cut
be
them.
fine.
Yeah, cut them way back. And
Really?
Just oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Cut 'em- you can cut them back to the ground,
pretty much.
pretty much, and then just drench them every single day or
Mhm.
every time you think about it.
hmm
You know, they will come back out.
If you wake up at 1 in the morning thinking about it, go
Go out there
Go
and water
water.
them. Okay. What about, should I put some garden tone on around them when I'm
Sure.
doing this? Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Very
They're
good.
alive. I killed mine right away because I put it in the ground, watered it once, and then never watered it again.
Oh.
I made the mistake of planting it at the bottom of a big hill. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to walk down that hill. We'll see if it survives.
I'm shocked.
It did not. It did not survive. But, you know, now, there's an echo.
Echo.
Whoa.
Okay.
But I'd say we're ready to dive into some questions,
I
yeah?
think we are.
Are you guys ready for some?
I was born ready.
I bet you were, for plant questions at least. All right, we're starting with bagworms. What are some common places to find bagworms besides arborvitae?
Oh.
Any conifer, that's where you start. But they will go on literally any plant.
I will say, when we redid the houseplant greenhouse and I had to take all my houseplants out from the greenhouse, and I got bagworms on some Peruvian apple cactus.
Sure, why not?
What?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There's pictures on my phone from years ago, but I remember being like, what is this? I called Austin over. I was like, these are bagworms, right? They get on
seen 'em
cactus?
on-
He was like, they'll get on anything.
I've seen them on brick walls. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it-
Yep.
That's adjacent to a conifer. You know, that's where because
Right.
you know broadleaf evergreens and deciduous are they're willing to get on those, but they kind of are spillovers when there is a heavy infestation. They don't they don't really seem to do much damage to things other than conifers. They will devour conifers, and they will
Do it quickly.
make short work of it. And I got that little experience about, I guess it's been 6 or 7 weeks ago when I discovered that I got tied up in a project and did not pay close attention to a green giant arborvitae hedge that we have at the nursery. And lo and behold, there were some in the top of it. And instead of being able to take a more benign route, it did force me into having to use something that's a little stronger chemically to be able to successfully control the adults. Josh, we've talked for years about this Father's Day treatment, which that happens about the middle of June. And if you spray your conifers at that time, it doesn't really take very much. Probably even insecticidal soap is really effective when the bagworms are just at the crawler stage, just coming out. But you give them a little bit of time, and they build up that protective outer husk with the webbing on it. And then you got to use more heavy-duty chemicals. Permethrin is the primary thing that is used in this day and time, and it's indeed what we had to use on the hedge of them that we had to make sure that we got them knocked out. Actually, Adam and I were just talking about that before we went on the air.
Yes, we were.
We're seeing some regrowth coming back out of that. We caught it just in time, but not before we got a little bit of damage. So we got it done, but it's definitely one of those areas of concern.
Well, the most important thing, right, is just to be vigilant. Just walk in your garden every other day. Just walk out there and look at everything. And because if you go a couple of weeks, you're going to have an infestation on your hands if there is something there. And like David was saying, once an infestation starts, those what we call organic solutions don't work very well because they don't have the knockback power that a stronger chemical has. So,
and another thing, the companion pest I call with bagworms are spider mites.
Spider mites.
Oh yes,
And
I deal with those.
The same treatment will apply pretty much to both. But if you're, that's the other pest you can have at the same time, or it's an either or kind of a thing. So, be mindful that spider mites are also they're a little more difficult to identify. You almost have to place a piece of paper in one hand and smack down on the foliage above it to dislodge them, and they'll look like little periods moving around.
Not commas.
Tend to be black little mites from conifers, and then you'll know that you've got those, and those are equally important to deal with because they can just kill them if you don't deal with it. So.
Yeah, I've seen them take over houseplants really quickly. We actually got a live question. I picked an Arrowwood and a Wentworth viburnum a couple weeks ago. They are still in the pots, and the leaves are turning brown and defoliating. I assume that is normal for this time of year. I do have a popcorn viburnum that I planted in a pot this year that is browning and starting to defoliate.
I think
a little bit. It's getting dry, though.
Yeah, it's late in the year, and it's just a matter of keeping them watered enough.
I have to water that guy.
Plants are really smart about knowing that timing, though.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, they really are.
It's wild.
The big thing in the sky that is spending less and less time each day kind of clues them in to start shutting down. So
going to sleep.
Yeah.
Taking a nap.
That's what it sounds like to me. It's kind of coming up on dormancy. I mean, it's probably a little early, but it's been hot and dry. So,
Man, my dogwoods are starting to go dormant, and they look gorgeous right now.
Well, and cherry trees, ornamental cherries in particular, which are, it's not unusual for them to be devoid of foliage by early August. We got a little bit of a reprieve this year because we had good moisture going in to August, but now that situation is past, and they already look like it's fall.
Or winter in some cases.
Yes. They completely defoliate.
Well, I planted one about 3 weeks ago, and it's so happy that it finally got put in the ground and watered that it has a ton of new growth.
I would say the other
wrong time of year for that.
I would say the other plants in your yard that you haven't planted yet are looking at it and Jealousy.
You know, I bought a bunch of stuff last week, and I was like, I'm going to plant this when I get home.
Oh.
It hasn't happened. That mountain mint that I got.
Yeah, they've been talking to each
I
other.
know. They've been talking. They've been gossiping about me. But let's stick on the tree topic.
Yes.
We have a question asking which tree is better for a front yard, Overcup oak or honey locust? Your expert opinion would be appreciated.
Get both.
Yeah, sure.
One
if
of
you got
each.
room. Well, I would say, it depends on what you're looking for, but because the honey locust is not as long lived, doesn't get quite as big. The leaves are much smaller and probably easier in some ways to deal with, unless you have a pool underneath it. But the Overcup oak will grow slower, but it will live a lot longer and get bigger. So it's depends on what you want to do with it. If you're thinking about your kids or grandkids later on, then plant the oak.
Plant the oak.
If you're thinking about yourself, plant the what was the other one?
Honey locust.
Honey locust, yeah.
I would be doing honey locust.
Gorgeous.
That would be mine.
Don't walk barefooted around it.
Ooh.
That's true.
They can
They
get
got
those
thorns.
feet. Okay. Oh, the evil thorns.
Yeah, well, there's some thornless ones out there.
Yeah.
That's what we usually carry here.
So come on
So-called
down and see
thorns.
us. Get you a tree today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Will lime Elysium survive a Tennessee winter? I have Florida Sunshine Elysium, and that did survive, but it did not look pretty.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it is native to the southeast, but not necessarily Tennessee.
Yeah.
If we have a bad enough winter, you're gonna have damage.
I feel like 2022 would have killed it. 2023 damaged it
Right.
a lot. It didn't have a lot of leaves by the time spring rolled around, but they did make it through. I ended up transplanting them like I do with most of my plants, moved them to a better spot. But I love that plant. The
It's a
Florida
cool
Sunshine
plant.
is the
It
one
is
I've
really
got.
cool. Yeah, very bright, vibrant. It's cool. It's hard to resist.
It looks pretty tropical.
In terms
does.
of recovery, how much would you say it's grown back? Or is it the
It's not a fast
transplanting?
grower, or at least in my experience, it's not growing very quickly.
No.
But it looks great. I mean, we got little 1 gallons in at the nursery. I usually start small. I have to because I buy so many plants. I'd spend all of my money if I started big. It defoliated. It was about this big when I planted it. It's probably about this big now. I
Well,
got 3 of them.
takes a lot of energy to create those big, thick, glossy leaves.
They're so gorgeous. I say do it.
But you also transplanted it, right? So that's with
So it's
transplanting.
with
still
transplanting and everything. As soon as I transplanted it and I put it in a new spot that was pretty much full shade, it was so much happier
Yeah.
because it was in a partial
don't-
sun spot.
Don't give them too much sun because they'll burn. And
They were mad about it.
Yeah.
Same thing with my blue jay hydrangeas. Put those in that same spot and they were upset with me.
You just want to test plants, don't
They
you?
were not
You want
happy.
to test their
You know what?
boundaries.
That's how you know what to tell people about plants. I test all of their boundaries. I do it with my houseplants. I'm better with my houseplants because now I've learned a lot, but I used to love leaving them outside and seeing how long they could handle going into winter or putting things in the sun to see what they would do. But now I have, all this stuff to talk about that I know firsthand knowledge. Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
It's great. It's fantastic. All right. We're going to talk about clematis. Austin's
Sweet.
not here. But before we do, shout out to Carol who came into the nursery yesterday and she bought a cross vine a month or 2 ago. And she said her cross vine is doing fantastic.
Of course it is.
I know because it's one of the best plants.
It's better than clematis.
It is a little bit. So here's our clematis question. 2 clematis planted in shade just died. Was shade wrong? Are
Yes.
they dead?
Yes.
What do I do?
Yes and yes. you're
Yes and
saying?
yes. Should have been in sun.
You plant a cross vine there.
Yep. Well,
Well,
crossvine will grow in shade.
It will.
Clematis
Won't
or
bloom as
clematis-
much.
And clematis or clematis, depending on how you want to pronounce it, they're one of these curious kind of plants that love sun on the top, but they like shade on the root system. So, you kind of
Yep.
got to plant them behind things that shade the soil, but doesn't block the sun to the upper part because they've got to have enough sunlight to be able to flower and bloom. And so that's just one of the things that needs to be kept in mind when you're planting those.
It's never a bad time of year to add Earth Mix to your garden. Earth Mix garden products are sustainably sourced, living soils and amendments crafted to give you the best success for your gardening efforts. Establishing a raised bed? Use Garden Premium Topsoil Blend for an excellent performing growing medium for flowers and vegetables. Amend your gardens with their supernatural compost, with all the nutrients needed to recharge existing soils. For houseplants, their Proganics Indoor Grow Mix is a fantastic potting medium that will feed for up to 6 months without the need for additional fertilizer. Earth Mix is sold only at independent garden centers, so head over to earthmix.net/find Earthmix to locate one near you. Success begins at the ground level when you use Earthmix garden products.
And so let's get back to it, Carolyn. We were talking about clematis, as I like to say it. Some say clematis.
What do you
Tomato,
say,
tomato,
Clematis.
whatever you want to call it.
Clematis. Yeah.
Well, I did plant one, a clematis, about a month ago, and it died.
Well, once again, I'm shocked.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Did you do that out
didn't
of
water it.
spite? Did you do that out of spite at Austin just to show them that there was difficulties with them, or?
I wanted to give another one a try. This is my third one, and they just don't like me.
Do you have a crossvine?
Yeah, my I've got two, and they're
Well, there you go.
amazing. They're doing great. But
There
I
you
said,
go.
you know what? I'm going to try this clematis because it's really pretty. It was very dark, very goth looking. And to be honest, with all of my plants, I did forget to water
Are you
it
saying
when it got really
went
hot.
full goth and
It did.
just
Fully
died?
goth and just
Yeah.
went away.
Gotcha.
Put itself in the darkness forever, if
yep.
you will.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, I guess their clematis might be dead. Do you think there's any hope?
So,
That's what they were
the question
asking. Is it dead?
Yeah, we don't plant clematis or clematis, either one, in shade areas.
Yeah.
They need sun, but they don't need sun.
I mean, the only
on
thing,
soil.
Hot feet.
right? That maybe they, if they wanted to, they could transplant with maybe the root ball and
Yeah.
into a sunnier area. Maybe
It
there's
might
still
come
life
back.
in them. I don't know. Probably not. But
It'd be worth the shot, though,
that's
to
up
try.
that's up
They're
to
not
them.
expensive.
I'm
to
honestly
replace
hoping mine
either,
is still a little bit
Yeah.
alive, that there's some life in there. All the leaves are, crispy and brown. But,
All the leaves are
There might
brown.
be-
Is the sky gray?
oh no, I knew
Okay.
that was about to
Not
happen.
today.
It's sunny, and it's going to be a hot one.
Crispy.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a live question in from Joan. Joan is saying, speaking of soil, I planted pansies with spring bulbs in pots last year, and all the bulbs rotted. What did I do wrong?
Well, probably a moisture issue would be my guess.
I would think the same thing.
We've had that happen. Well, my wife, my lovely wife, Rachel, who works in
Shout
the
out
office
Rachel.
here.
She does the show sometimes.
She
Fills in for
loves
Tyler.
Yes,
does
she
a great
loves to
job.
do bulbs, and it's hit or miss. And I think it's probably a moisture thing where it just stays.
It seems
too wet
like
in there.
it.
So
I've also gotten some before that just didn't like.
yeah, and sometimes it is a
A
viability.
quarter of them
it is
came
a,
up.
It is a viability thing where
Yeah.
where by the time you get them, half of the bag is
Dead
not viable
already.
anymore.
Right.
So yeah.
I
So you
always
really
just shove
should
it.
inspect, if you're looking at a package of bulbs, you really kind of need to inspect them close to make sure they still feel
Firm.
firm and they're and viable. Maybe show evidence of having good sprouts at the top or the beginnings of it, because they can become desiccated in the bag. That means drying out, Josh.
I know that. I knew
But
that.
they can dry out in the bag.
You know that, you
and
knew
of
that.
course, conversely, they do not like to be. Most bulbs do not like to be in a wet feet kind of situation. So if you plant them in a spot that's kind of a low area that tends to hang on to moisture, it is a recipe for things
Yep.
likely going bad.
Struggles.
Well, see, I've noticed that some of the pots don't drain as quickly as others, so you might want to raise your pot up just half an inch if you've got some little,
Pot feet.
yep, and little feet, or we use little pieces of broken tile because we've got boxes of broken tile in the basement for some reason.
That sounds like my house.
Yeah, so we just put them up underneath there to allow that water to drain out. It's helped me. So
That's a great idea, Josh. Oh. Well, not all things are sad and
No.
dying.
No.
There's still stuff blooming.
There is.
yes,
There's still stuff happening, colors around town.
What's in? Almost. With all.
Adam.
Sweet. Yeah, so there's not really much change from last week's episode of What's in Bloom that Austin so energetically gave us.
Every time. Yep.
So So, and I still have his list here, but I'm going to go by my list because I like to do my own homework. Okay. I don't want to cheat. Okay.
No cheating today.
So obviously the biggest shower right now is still crepe myrtles everywhere. They're just gorgeous.
It's still not blooming.
So I've even seen some Vitex that's rebloomed. At my house, I've got one that's blooming. The panicle hydrangeas, we talked about those last week, and I know we'll talk about it. But we've got some behind us here. The pufferfish, which is a new variety, really cool variety. And all the other ones that are blooming right now. And even some reblooming macrophyllus hydrangeas are still kind of hit or miss, but you'll get some blooms. We planted a eclipse.
Yep, hydrangea.
And that thing bloomed forever, and it's actually about to set bud again and bloom again.
Really?
Yes,
Josh is jealous right now.
so it's awesome. That thing is awesome.
That was
I must have
quite the
planted
growl
it
into
in
the
the
backyard.
perfect spot.
I didn't.
How
Well,
much?
there you
Okay,
go.
just gonna sidetrack a little bit.
Sure.
How much sun does your gifts get?
Okay,
direct
so
sun?
where I've got it is on the northwest corner of my house. So
Okay.
it gets morning sun.
That's exactly where mine is.
Then in the middle of the day it gets shade,
Uh-huh.
but then by the end of the day it's getting a little more sun through the trees, dappled sun. So
Gotcha.
it seems to love where it's at. So
Josh.
Mine's in a similar spot, by the way, and it's it's done really well. So, but it, pretty much that dappled light situation. It doesn't, we might get a smidge of morning sun, but it's more or less a dappled sunlight situation. Other hydrangeas that are nearby,
It does
and
not
other
mind it.
shade-loving plants all do well. So yeah, it's a really nice plant, and it's of course the first
Gorgeous.
year we've had that one.
well,
so,
and I think I told this already, but Rachel bought it while the eclipse was happening this year.
Oh, wow.
Like literally
It's
as
a
it was
magical
happening,
one. That's
she
why
bought
yours
it.
is blooming
Yeah.
again.
So some other things blooming. Abelia. I've got some Little Richard Abelia at the house.
Bye
Is
now,
blooming.
I'll bill you later.
Exactly. And other varieties like Rose Creek, Canyon
You
Creek.
love that one, I feel.
Rose
like.
Creek's a great one.
Yeah.
It's a great plant. Butterfly bush, which we also have in studio this morning. Obviously all different colors are blooming around town
Yes, they are.
continuously. Black-eyed Susan, which is Austin's favorite.
It
Those are
is. He
blooming.
loves it so much.
Yep.
Wait till he sees my yard next year.
Ooh.
Well, the native ones are blooming everywhere and in people's yards. The goldenrod is also starting to come out, and I think I've always mentioned this when I mentioned goldenrod, but that is not what is giving you hay fever.
Nope.
No.
It's what you are seeing. What you are not seeing is the pigweed, the amaranthus that's blooming. That is what is giving you, a bad case of hay fever. Sweet autumn clematis, obviously we talked about that. That's starting to bloom. Ironweed is blooming everywhere. That tall purple.
Yeah, you see
perennial.
it all in fields on the side of the roads here.
And we do carry that. So it's a great late summer bloomer. So, and then if you have taken care of your summer annuals, as in a week or 2 or 3 weeks ago, you pruned them back and fertilized them. You've probably got some really nice looking ones right
Lantana.
now. Yeah.
Austin's other
So-
favorite, Zinnias.
Yep.
Zinnias.
Zinnias. Oh, that's his favorite. Yeah.
Oh, he loves
So-
them. He plants them all around his house every year.
I did plant some bat face. What's it called?
Bat face?
Cupra,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Okay.
That thing is done
Hummingbirds
really,
love
yes,
those.
and
Yeah.
that's done really well in the pots on my porch. So
Great. Let's stay on the flower topic, shall we?
Okay.
A lot of flower questions
Feeling
this
it.
morning. Should I remove spent zinnia blooms? If you want, it'll rebloom. I usually, this time of year or a little earlier, I will cut back all those spent blooms. For one, they don't look great, but also it'll promote new blooms lower in the plant. And then towards fall, getting close to it, I start to leave them up. So then they can go to seed. They
Yep.
make food for the birds in the
Birdies.
winter, and then it reseeds itself. I just let it stay. And then late winter, very, very early spring is when I'll come in and clear it all out. So that's really up to you, but that's my method with my zinnias. I bet Austin does the same thing with all
Yes,
of
he
his.
does.
he does. All the ones he has.
All around his house. It's crazy. He has all the varieties. All right, fall flowering shade perennial ideas.
Fall flowering.
Fall
For shade?
flowering
Well,
shade perennial ideas. Lobelia, that's one. Windflower, I have those. Mine are not blooming quite yet, and they're in almost full shade, and they are covered in buds right now. Yeah. Those are the only two that are coming to mind right now
That are fall blooming.
that are fall blooming
Yeah.
shade.
Yeah.
Fall blooming shade.
I mean, hostas sometimes will have blooms.
Mine are
into the
still
fall,
throwing
but-
up blooms here
yeah.
and there, but
So,
The little spidery looking ones that come up there, they seem to do well.
spiderwort.
Well, it's on a hydrangea. I saw some of them up in Door County. So, but they look to be almost like a surprise lily to the point. But
spidery looking.
I'll
Sounds
put
like-
together a collage of pictures and put them up.
Yeah,
on
it sounds like
Facebook
spider
page.
lily or traits canthia, I think.
Well,
Traits
the plant identifier on your phone is never wrong. So
Correct.
Yeah,
okay.
never
Correct.
wrong. But I guess those are our top, those 2. But Windflower,
Sure.
I love that one. That one is low maintenance, looks great, leaves are always clean. My husband did chop one down, and it never came back. Weed eated that to the ground. It's a theme at my house, and that's okay.
Death.
Death.
Joyce says
Theme.
anemone? Question
Yep.
mark?
Windflower. Yep. That one's great. Yes, Joyce. Yes.
Very
Joyce,
good.
do you have that one? Let us know. Let us know how it's doing if you do. Oh, turtlehead. Mine is still not quite in full bloom.
Yeah, that's another one. 'Cause
That's
what I
another one.
thought. That's what I thought that was when I first walked in here.
It does have that like growth habit.
Yeah.
It does look like that a lot.
Oh, another
Do you
one
want
would
me
be,
to
would
show
be,
the lobelia?
anemone. Anemone is another fall blooming perennial for shade.
Yeah.
That was another one. So
What was that time?
Do you want me to show the lobelia or wait?
Let's wait.
Okay.
Let's let them wait for it.
All right.
We did get a question about hellebore. Someone is asking why their hellebore is like flopped out and the leaves are starting to turn yellow. I mean, the laying out of the old leaves is what mine does every year at this time. They just kind of lay down on the ground. taking a
yes,
little
it's
nap.
not their favorite time of the year.
No.
You know, some say there ain't no cure for the summertime blues. But we say Bates Nursery is. Located in Nashville, Tennessee, Bates Nursery and Garden Center is a separate world unto itself. They feature the widest variety of plants, including trees, shrubs, native plants, perennials, houseplants, and specimen evergreens. Their knowledgeable staff will assist you with any gardening needs, catering to any experience level. Open year-round, and Caroline, tell them how to get here.
Bates Nursery is located minutes from downtown Nashville off Briley Parkway, exit 19 in beautiful Whites Creek, Tennessee. You'll see it's worth the drive from anywhere. No time to visit the nursery? Shop online with delivery and pickup options available for the greater Middle Tennessee area at www.batesnursery.com.
So if you want to learn a lot about living and a little about love, visit Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932.
And then Miriam asks, when should I prune spirea for next
Miriam.
year?
Hello,
I
Miriam.
want more
Hi, Miriam.
blooms. Good morning, Miriam.
When should you cut
3:30?
spirea?
Prune spirea.
Well, a lot of spirea, if not most of them, are
Done.
you know,
They're already done, aren't
yeah,
they?
they're done, and they bloom on. A lot of them bloom on previous year's growth. So depends on which one. But certainly, I mean, if you're going to do it, I would do it now. I wouldn't wait much longer because you
Can you hear that,
Really
Miriam?
should've done
Finish
it.
the show. Get out there and prune them.
Should have
Yeah.
done it about a month ago.
Yeah, I
actually.
should have done it about 3 weeks ago, but I mean, there's probably still time for them to flush and
Since they're
It'd be okay.
spirea. and all
because they're spirea, they're very tolerant of frost and freeze and that kind of thing.
So get on out there, Miriam.
But I would do it soon.
And then Kimberly asks, what is a good flowering shrub that does good in full sun? I want something that spreads out and takes up space.
Abelia, which I just mentioned earlier.
You
is
love
a
Abelia,
great
Rose
one.
Creek Abelia,
Yep.
your favorite.
I see them
great one.
everywhere, and there's so many different varieties.
Yeah, it's a
Yep.
happy looking plant. Looks low maintenance.
Yeah,
Semi
well,
broadleaf, so they'll retain much of their foliage unless it's a hard winter. So they do give you some interest into the winter season more so than most things that are straight up
Flowering.
deciduous, drop everything, and you also get flowers. They got nice looking foliage also. So there's a lot of benefit to that. The buddleia that I talked about earlier, also
yep.
are really great for full sun. You get a lot of flowers. However, they're straight up deciduous. They're going to, as soon as you get a killing frost, they're going to be devoid of everything.
Yep. That will happen.
Or the pufferfish would work too if you didn't mind it losing its leaves too.
Oh yeah, that would be good as
Just
well.
don't eat the liver on the pufferfish.
Don't
Correct.
do
No.
it. Do not do it. My sweet corn is growing well this year, but recent storms and wind have played havoc with the stalks. What measure should I take to have stronger and more upright stalks? My fertilizing this year was slow release nitrogen and garden tone.
Welcome to the world of
Corn,
farming.
Austin's favorite.
You know, I would think that there's not a lot that
Not
you
much
can
else
do.
you can do. I mean, unless you want to buy some individual
Corn steaks?
Steaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that, about planting corn is you're better off to plant those in a kind of a square type of where they're about as wide as they are long row wise. And that tends to protect the plants somewhat from the ravages of wind because
Straight
they
line.
all, at least it'll give you more plants in a more concentrated area. Also helps a lot with respect to pollination because
Absolutely.
they're much. If you have one row of them, you're just not going to get any corn unless you go through and hand pollinate all those. Much better if you've got them in a tight block
Square.
where
yeah.
they have wind can also pollinate in addition to bees and whatever. So those are things to keep in mind. But you know, they are susceptible to wind, and we get those, and no one who has ever grown corn has ever evaded it. There are varieties, and I can't call them off the top of my head,
They're much
that
shorter.
are not so tall growing, and they're a whole lot more resilient to that than some that get, 7 or 8 feet tall. They just are long whips.
It happens. That's why I stopped growing corn. Said no more. I'm tired of watching you fall down.
I mean, to me, if you're going to grow corn, it takes a lot of space. I mean,
It really does.
You have to grow a lot.
And
of
honestly,
it.
the return is not worth it for me. Let's get in a couple more questions before we come to an end. Can I plant kale seeds now?
Sure.
Kale seeds, yeah, sure.
Is
Still
now the
warm
perfect
enough.
time to do it?
I think it's getting pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you wait? Would you do it now? Should we have done it?
Well, I mean, considering we're not getting a whole lot of rain right now, I mean, you're going to have
You're going to be out there watering
You're going to
it.
have to supplement the water, but yeah, I mean, we're going into the cool season here in, another 6 weeks. So
Get you some growing, man.
Just some growing. And then somebody says, I have volunteer pumpkin vines coming up.
Cool.
It blooms and they fall off. Any suggestions?
probably need some fertilizer.
Fertilizer?
Fertilizer.
Probably
I
some
mean, are they getting pollinated?
garden
Just
tone.
make sure that you're getting male and female blooms.
Correct.
Sometimes you'll just see male, and you need the female.
Maybe it's time to
need
just
the
fly blossoms and eat them.
Oh, that's a good
that's
idea.
true. That's a fantastic
Okay,
idea.
I've never thought about that. But yeah, a little panko. Oh, my goodness gracious, it would be good. All righty, folks. Music means that we've got to get out of here for this edition of Gardening Inside Out. But, ladies and gentlemen, next Saturday morning from 8 o'clock here in the Middle Tennessee area, so that's the central time zone, you can time shift us anywhere because the broadcast is up on the YouTube channel all the time, and you can see them there. Look for the podcast during the week. Hey, like, share, tell the whole world about it. And, hey, we'll see you next week right here from the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. See you then.
Thank you for tuning into the Gardening Inside Out podcast. If you're looking for more information or more from your hosts, don't forget that we have a live Saturday morning broadcast, 8 a.m. Central Time on YouTube and Facebook. You can also follow us on our Instagram channel. That's @Gardening Inside Out for more posts, reels, and in-depth dives to topics and things we've discussed on the show. If our content resonates with you, consider giving us a follow, like, and subscription on all of our social media pages. See you next time.